we'll be going through the technical aspects of S/4HANA conversion. Okay, it is just
Sir,
an
can you
high.
speak a little bit louder?
Mm, just let's check my mic once. Yeah, how it is now?
It is
Actually,
fine, sir.
actually, I got a sore throat today. Please excuse me for that. And whenever if you could not hear properly, or if you want to, like if you have got any queries, you can immediately pitch in and ask. Right? Don't wait till the last. And if I am not clear, then tell me then and there itself. Okay, so till now, I think you might have looked into the logistics aspects of S/4HANA conversion, the pre-logistics activities like CVA conversion, etc., etc. But this particular session is more of a technical overview, and we don't go into more details, but it's a high-level overview, and this is to ensure that you get a feel of how the S/4HANA conversion projects will be handled at the customer place, okay, in the real time. So going forward, so these are the high level topics which we'll be dealing it today: approach and methodology, and what are the activities, and what will be the project execution phases, and what tool will be used, and how, the tool how it works. We don't go into details of tool how it goes, but I will just show you a few screens regarding that. Okay. So at a high level, we have three approaches for S/4HANA transformation or S/4HANA conversion. Suppose if you have a ECC system at your this thing land in your landscape and you want to convert it to S/4HANA, basically there are three approaches. One is system conversion. That is what you are doing it right now, right? You are considering you are doing some pre-activities on the system shared to you, and that system I will show the system and what is the database it is on, and what is the current version, etc. Can someone mute that? There, this thing might. There's a background noise. Okay, so system conversion is the main focus, wherein the complete historical data, which is in your current ERP system, will be migrated to the S/4HANA. And it can be from any database to any database. Like the current ECC system can be on Oracle, it can be on Sybase, it can be on MS SQL or DB2. And finally, that that system and some DMO tool will be used for that, and the system will be upgraded from ERP to S/4HANA, and then migrated from the current database like Sybase to SAP HANA. And the second approach is greenfield. This we call it as greenfield implementation. It is a new implementation kind of thing. Suppose if you have any challenges with respect to your hardware, or if you want to add few functionalities to the target S/4HANA system, and you don't want the historical data, you want only the open items, and you want to continue your business on a new system without any historical data and with only the open items, then this approach will be followed. And here what they do is they build a new S/4HANA vanilla system. In that system, they configure everything with respect to finance, what and all modules they have. They consider it, they configure, do all the configurations. It's a kind of new implementation kind of thing. So once everything is configured, then they will migrate the open items from the current ERP system or any third party system to the S/4HANA system. So here we have migration, SAP migration cockpit tool that will be used to migrate the open items to the target S/4HANA
Sir, I
system.
have a question.
Yeah.
Third party system means?
It can be any legacy system, maybe a Sage application where ERP is running, or any other application
No,
where
when it's like conversion means like from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA, right?
exactly here the conversion, in the sense the first thing is conversion, that is from ERP system to on-premise. Okay. Suppose
Okay.
today I have some any other ERP and I want to
Okay.
implement S/4HANA system. I want to go to S/4HANA. I want to discard that ERP system. It may not, it might not be, it can be SAP ERP, or it can be any other third party system like Oracle Finances, Sage, etc., etc.
Okay.
Okay. Even from
Okay.
there, if you want to implement S4HANA in your landscape, so what you do is you perform a new implementation, new system.
Mhm.
You create a vanilla system without any configuration and all. You do all the configuration with respect to finance, logistics, other PPPM, other modules. Then you migrate the data, the master data, and as well as the open items will be migrated from the source system to the target system. And you will have a cutover there at one particular per day, maybe during a month end or any year end. So there will be a cutover there, and from that cutover point, all your transactions and business will run on the new S4HANA system, and the old system like the third party system or ERP system will be used for reporting and auditing purposes. Is that
Yes, sir.
clear?
Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. In system conversion also, we are migrating the data from ECC to HANA, whereas in new implementation also, we are migrating either it from third party or ECC to HANA. And what is the difference between these two? Still, I didn't get. Sorry to say this.
See here, when you say a system conversion, let me put this in way. So, suppose say your ERP system is running on ECC 6.0 EHP 7, or it can be ECC 6.0. Right from ECC 6.0 to EHP 8, all the versions are supported for conversion, and you are doing business on it. It might contain a 10 years of historical data, 20 years of historical data in it. Okay. So during system conversion, your current ERP system, along with your as is configuration, master data, historical data, everything will be migrated to the new system. And in the target system, all your configurations or all your processes which you have defined in the source system will be same. You won't find any change. It's just a technical conversion of the system. Okay. In the second this thing, you have got a chance to add new functionalities to your system. Like if you want to add few more processes or few more functionalities in the system, and there accordingly data master, only you will be migrating master data and open items. There won't be any historical data migrated in the new implementation. Okay, that is greenfield approach. And few
Okay,
customers.
sorry to interrupt you. You mean to say that in new implementation we migrate only the data, not the configuration. For example, in system conversion we can migrate the enterprise structure also, whereas in new implementation no, we will not. We'll just least bother about the configuration and just be much curious, much emphasis only on the data. Can I understand in this way?
Yeah. In the new implementation, you manually redo the configuration. Okay. In the system conversion, all your configuration, everything will be migrated to your target system S4HANA along with the historical data.
Okay.
Got it?
The example, if I have an enterprise,
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. I just joined. This is the first, second slide, or is there anything that has happened before? Like any explanation?
Nothing. This is just first slide we are discussing.
Okay. We are discussing system conversion, new implementation, and landscape transform.
Yes. These are the at a very high level, these are the three approaches usually based on the current system state and the customer needs, and S4HANA transformation is performed. And right now, our focus will be on system conversion, wherein complete configuration, your customizations, as well as master data, including complete transactional data will be migrated to the target system in the first option. The second option, you need to do the manual configuration of the vanilla system, pure vanilla system without any configuration and all. You perform all the configurations manually, and here you have got a chance to have an additional features implementation also included here. And once that is totally configured, your master data as well as the open items, if any, like your sales orders or this thing, open items will only be migrated from the source system to the target S4HANA system. Okay.
Okay, got it.
And in the third option, landscape transformation, suppose if we have multiple ERP systems running on different instances, maybe one system is for, let us say, is running for few countries and the other system is running for few countries, etc., etc. And if you want to, in the process of going to S4HANA, if you want to merge all these three systems to single S4HANA system, then the landscape transformation is used. This is typically usually done by SAP, or we have some third-party vendors to perform these kind of merging of systems, etc., etc. Okay. So, and right now in this course, your focus is totally on the system conversion, like what the logistics activities you are seeing, right? They are all with respect to the system conversion. You will be performing all this on your source system. Okay. Then that particular system will be technically migrated along with the complete historical data to the target system.
Very good.
Is the
Can we ask any queries on? I guess you are doing a from overview from the basis point of view, right?
exactly? This is technical. This is totally from the basic technical point of view. I mean, basis point of view. Yeah.
So would you be also explaining what are the activities that you would be carrying out in this technical upgrade?
See, technical activities we will be covering in this, and with respect to finance and logistics, this session this is pure technical, right? So those things won't be covered.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is one question, like sir told to ask, like this basis notes which you are going to add. So what it is exactly, the basis notes?
Basis notes in the sense?
While before doing a pre-migration, just give me a moment. I have that question actually. Before the migration customer to BP, so BP ABAP basis consult
SAP notes.
SAP notes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. See, what happens is like when we start a system, like when we start a conversion of a system, usually in general practice, what we do is we don't directly do a production system conversion. We take a backup of the production system, okay, and build a new system with the backup of the production system, an exact copy of your production system. On that, first steps will be like you might have seen this simplification item check report in the system, right? RC start check report, and you might have seen the other these things. Right? You might have performed the CVI this thing, custom vendor integration. So all this stuff, like you need to in the current system, you won't have these programs to execute the simplification item check report or customer vendor integration. So each functionality has got its own report, its own SAP note. So since sorry, we need to bring in those reports to the system, right? So those reports we bring in through SAP notes. So we implement for readiness check report, generating readiness check report. There are a set of few SAP notes that have to be implemented, which bring that functionality, and then we generate the readiness check report. And similarly, this RC start check reports also comes with the note. And your migration cockpit, like CVI, this thing, right? Customer vendor integration. You need to migrate all your this thing, customers and vendors to BP, right? The required consistency check notes, and as well as those programs which are required for syncing to sync these things, they all come with the SAP notes. So as a prerequisite, first we implement what are the notes required, SAP notes required for the each activity that we perform.
Okay, means these are the manual notes which we see when we click on some, like when we click on the arrow or something where we see like the details which are written in that. So that are the notes, right? Am I right?
You don't find these notes. Maybe if you have an SU ready, if you check the service marketplace, right? generate, like if you click on S4HANA SAP readiness check report, readiness check, there you will find few nodes there. So SAP nodes, which are specific to implementing this SAP readiness check functionality to generate that report, right? Those programs will be from those nodes. So each, you are talking about, I think, if I correct me if I am wrong, you are talking about the simplification item check. When you run that, when you drill down to that, there it will be showing some SAP nodes. That's where you are trying to say, right?
Just a moment. Actually,
Okay, well, so anyway, since we are talking about that, let me log into system. I think this network.
Yeah. So when you are doing the simplification readiness check report, okay, you need to apply some notes right before that, and then only you run the simplification readiness check, right?
Yes.
Item check, right?
Yeah. These programs which are required to run the simplification item check, those comes along with the SAP nodes. Those nodes have to be implemented before performing these activities. Otherwise, you won't find those programs in the system.
Yeah.
it's actually this step is like after configuration, when we do PP configuration for migration project. So after that, so said like basis, people will add some notes. So ask them once when you are going to connect. So that is why I asked this question.
Yes. See, these particular reports comes with notes. There will be somewhere 10 to 15 notes that usually basis people implement those notes and hand over the system to you before performing these activities.
Okay, so is there any role of our in this doing or configuring or creating any nodes?
No, see, suppose if you, during your this thing, like suppose if you are performing a CVI, you have some issue or some bug while executing something, and you will go and find the respective bug fix notes for that, right? So those notes again, if you tell to the business people, they will be implementing. This is like initially there will be initial notes, and after that issue fixing notes. So that's how it will be. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Let me come to let's let me come to this a bit maybe later in this session. Okay, I thought of showing it to you now itself. Why? Because you asked about this. I thought that you are just talking about this, like you want to. You are referring to these notes which are mentioned here. Okay. These are other notes. These are only issue what that this is a line item where you got that inconsistency and inconsistency for this particular line item. SAP recommends you a note here. So you follow this note to fix this particular. This. Okay. This is
Your voice is very low. Can you speak louder?
Yeah.
There's a lot of background noise actually coming from the people who are asking.
Yeah. Can everyone mute their this thing mics, please? Okay, these are other set of notes wherein you use SAP notes wherein you use to fix the inconsistencies. I thought you are referring to this, so I just wanted to show you here. Okay, let's go back to our this thing. Okay, so at a high level, these are three approaches like system conversion, green, that is called brownfield implementation, new implementation, it is called greenfield implementation, and landscape transformation, it is called bluefield implementation. And now our focus will be only on system conversion. Okay. So
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Is this system conversion is carrying all the stuff which is related to ABAP? For example, in ECC, if you would have implemented any, using BAPIs, BAPIs or BDC or reports, that can be carried out to S4HANA using this procedure, or is there any other procedure to follow to be migrated to S4HANA?
See, in system conversion, you will be using some DMO tool, which ensures that complete your what is there in your ECC systems with respect to configuration, with respect to ABAP programs, with respect to your customizations, with respect to your custom ABAP programs, with respect to your master data, with respect to what is and all is there, with respect to your transactional data, what and all is there in your source system will be migrated to S4HANA.
Yeah, thank you.
So, sorry. So these are the high level activities which will be performed on the system during system conversion. Okay, so the basic checks like system, it has to have a minimum OS level operating system level operating system version, and it has to also be the database level version should be to a minimal level. So other hardware requirements will be performed in the system requirement phase, and here we will ensure that everything is ready to perform S4HANA conversion. And the other thing is we run a maintenance planner report. Maintenance planner report usually checks the business functions and add-ons compatibility, and also it generates the upgrade XML. We actually, this maintenance planner report, we actually select the target version where we want to go. Suppose we are on, say, ERP 6.0 EHP 7, and target version where we want to go is S4HANA 2021 FPS 2. So we select this target version in this maintenance planner, and it checks the system and generates an XML file where it will have the complete upgrade path, like what all the patches it requires to perform that upgrade. So this will, all the patches will be downloaded and provided to the sum tool so that it will execute the upgrade accordingly. And pre-checks, when it comes to the pre-checks, CVI is one of your pre-checks. And when it comes to the finance, they have got reports to check the inconsistencies in the system. Basically, when it goes to the S4HANA, right, there you have universal ledger concept for this. So all your finance tables are now have been converted to only one single table. Okay, AAC Docker table. So all the tables to be migrated to one single table, there will be some few consistency checks that are to be performed. So those kind of, if they have any inconsistencies, then they will resolve beforehand itself, before converting. Otherwise, your conversion will fail. Likewise, the simplification item check report, like in the pre-checks itself, all I have showed this, right? Let me go back to that screen again. Okay. So this is your simplification item check report. Here you find few inconsistencies. See, the first column is the relevance. What are the functionalities that are relevant to your system that it will pick? And the second column is here whether it is consistent or not. If it is consistent, it will be green. If it is like inconsistent and it is just a warning that can be ignored, then it will be like the orange. And if it is red, see here we have two options here in the red. Inconsistencies that can be exempted. The two you see here, right? We can keep an exemption here and go forward. That won't create any inconsistency. That can't create any problems during the conversion. But the first two, your BP conversion and logistic failure, first two activities must be performed. You cannot go ahead with the technical conversion without resolving these inconsistencies. Okay, so here if you see each one of, if you go into the detailed log, here you will see the written code. If it is 8 and above, you must resolve that inconsistency and go ahead. If it is below 7 and below 7, if the written code is below 7, those can be either exempted or those can be ignored. Okay, so for each inconsistency, you will have a detailed report where it has failed, what is the written code, and in that also you will see the sorry, you, if at all, if there is any specific node that SAP recommends, right? So it will show that node number also. Here the for CVA integration it is 2210486. So you go to that SAP node, there you will have details of what should be done to resolve this particular inconsistency. Okay, this is your simplification item check report, and when before you proceed with the conversion, you need to ensure that all this is either orange or exempted. You cannot have inconsistency at level abortion. You cannot have this kind of inconsistencies before proceeding. So these activities will be performed by the specific functional consultants. Like if it is related to logistics, logistics consultant will perform. If it is related to finance, finance consultant will perform. Okay, so these are all your pre-checks that you perform during this process. Then your custom code remediation. So now your code is being migrated from any database to HANA, right? If it is from Sybase to HANA, then if there are any SQL statements which are specific to Sybase and that are not compatible for HANA, then all those ABAP code has to be adjusted. Okay, so for this, they have ABAP people, they have a tool, ATC tool, which actually lists out all the inconsistencies in the system with respect to the ABAP programs, and they will be fixing or adjusting that particular code accordingly so that there won't be any issue during the conversion and even after the conversion. Okay. Then after that, after simplification item check, your pre-checks, this thing, then the software upgrade manager. This is the tool we use to migrate, upgrade and migrate your current system to S4HANA and as well as HANA database will be used, and this will be performed by basis people. Okay, so once this is converted to S4HANA, then you again have some follow-up activities to be done, like finance activities. Finance, actually your data migration with respect to finance tables happens only after the some upgrade. That means the technical migration has happened. So once it is converted, they perform few steps. First steps will be used to check the inconsistencies, then the actual data migration from the existing tables to ACI or Docker table, the universal ledger table. So all those stuff will happen post technical conversion. And from your side, you will be performing some post activities like credit management adjustments you need to do, and also material ledger activation if required, you have to perform. So likewise, there will be few post-functional activities which each functional consultant, respective functional consultant will perform. Okay, so when we go into, so these are the few system requirements, the technical system requirements that basis people will ensure whether the system is Unicode. Suppose if the system is not Unicode, if it's non-Unicode system, then first there is no direct migration to S4HANA. You cannot directly convert your existing ECC system to S4HANA. First thing you need to perform is like Unicode, non-Unicode to Unicode conversion. There is a process for that which basis people will do. And once the system becomes Unicode, then only you will be able to do a S4HANA conversion on that. So these are the basic checks that are to be done. And usually in any landscape, this will be done. Then if your source database version supports the conversion, see this some DMO tool has got its own restrictions. It requires minimum versions of your source operating system as well as source database. So those things have to be checked. And if your source application has minimum patch levels, that needs to be checked. Okay. And if your CPU, RAM, disk space, and all the hardware stuff, if it is compatible, if it is sufficient to perform a migration. Why? Because your whole database is getting migrated, right? It can be 500 GB, it can be 2 TB, based on how much size your database is. You need, accordingly, you need these resources, hardware resources. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time to migrate. Okay. Then your add-on compatibility. So if you have any SAP add-ons that are not compatible with S4HANA target version, then again you won't be able to do a conversion there. So you need to go back to SAP, say that this particular add-on, we are using it, this functionality is being used. So what would be the, is there any worker, you need to check with them, is there any workaround for that? Or sometimes what happens is you need to wait till S4HANA releases a version which is compatible for this particular add-on also. Similar case with business functions. So you need to check all the business functions which are activated in your system, whether they are compatible with S4HANA or the target version, like S4HANA, the target version which you are going on to. So these are all the checks, pre-checks we do on the system.
Sir, how to check the Unicode, sir?
System status, right? Let me show you that. Here you will find this Unicode system. Yes, if it is not Unicode, you will see it as no.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So anyway, since we have come here, right, I will show you. Right now you are performing the conversion of this, but you are doing all your activities like pre-migration activities on this particular system, right? So this, just to show you, this system is on Sybase, okay, and the operating system is Linux. And once you convert this system, it will be like HANA database here. And the same Linux will be there. Why? Because even the application server is installed on HANA. So it will be, the OS will be Linux itself, but your database here, it will change to HANA post conversion to S4HANA. And your application, right now you are on PHP 8 for ERP 6.0. Okay. So right now your application is this, on which you are performing your pre-conversion activities. Once it is converted, you will see it as S4HANA 2021 FPS 2. So your target version is S4HANA 2021 FPS 2.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So as I said earlier, right? So this maintenance planner check tool, it's used for two things. First thing, it will check the business. It's a tool used to check the compatibility. We do it manually also, but this is better way of doing is using this maintenance planner tool. Here it checks your business functions, whether they are compatible with the target version or not, and as well as the add-ons deployed in your system, whether they are compatible or not. And it also gives us the upgrade XML. Okay. So we spoke about readiness check report, right? So you need to know all this stuff beforehand, like how much HANA database size I need, what are my add-ons. Even this readiness check report will also contain the business functions and add-ons compatibility check. Okay. So this is a Word document, and you will find set of XML files wherein you get the output in XML files, and as well as the Word document, you get all these details there. So this, when you generate this report, right? As I said earlier, you need to implement few SAP nodes to get these programs, and when you execute this program, then you get all these details, add-on compatibility, what are the Fury apps that are available and which are relevant for your system. So according to your business processes and according to the functionalities that you use in your existing system, it will recommend the Fury apps that are applicable to your system when you go to the S4HANA. And what are the transactions that are affected? Like, see, when you go to the S4HANA, few transaction codes are become obsolete, like they don't work on S4HANA, and you need to use the new transaction codes. So what are the transaction codes that have changed? What transaction codes have become obsolete, and what are the corresponding transaction codes that you need to use? So it gives the complete list, and it also gives the custom code, like what I said. I told you, right? There will be a ATC check tool, so it will analyze this report will analyze your complete system, and it will give a report saying that this many custom objects are there, this many custom objects have to be addressed, there is a inconsistencies with respect to the code in this many objects. So the complete list will be provided here. So as a whole, a Word document, it will look like this. Once you generate readiness check report, right? It will look like this, and each section, like the first section would be your add-ons and business functions compatibility. It gives a table there showing that these many add-ons are there, these many are compatible, these many are not compatible, these many are not compatible. Like sometimes what happens is your business functions or gets merged with other things, so those things will get deleted. So it will say that this will be merged into other things, and the old one will be deleted, and you need to test those functionalities post your conversion. So so likewise, as I said, no, custom code and custom developments, what are there, that complete report it will give. Your simplification items, like what you have seen in the GUI screen here, right? That complete list it will give beforehand in that analysis Word document. Okay, that is a kind of assessment document. So this complete list will be given, and it will even gives us the recommendations, like what has to be done, whether that is mandatory or whether that is optional, etc., etc. So those kind of details also will be provided in that Word document. And we spoke about transactions like what are obsolete, what are the new transactions that are introduced. So accordingly, what happens is you plan that beforehand, so that you need to train your customer, right? They have to adapt to the new changes in the S4HANA when they go to the ECC. So there you need to provide training based on what are the changes that have happened from ECC to S4HANA with respect to the new transactions and all, how to use them. So those kind of, you prepare some user manuals also there, and you train the end user accordingly so that they don't face any issue once the system is converted. Okay, so at what stage you will be providing this training and all, we can see it later, like how your whole landscape, a simple landscape, is converted. So as I said, that the other things like Fury apps, what are the Fury apps that are applicable to the system, those will be recommended, provided here. Okay, so far, any questions so far?
Small query. Corresponding to that add-on, how can we show that so-and-so add-on is compatible to so-and-so version of S4HANA?
See, that maintenance planner tool is there, no? It will clearly tell you that it will give you the list of add-ons deployed in your system, and it will also tell you that this particular add-on is not compatible with the target version. Likewise, for the business functions also, it will tell you.
Okay, then what would be the solution to this? For example, if the add-on is unable to compatible with some version of the S4HANA, we need to migrate it. Then
Yeah, that when you come across that scenario, right, you need to go to SAP and check with them. They have to provide the solution for that. Why? Because if you are not using that add-on, and if it is deployed, no issues. Let it get deleted, or you delete it beforehand. First you ask the customer whether they are using that particular functionality or not with respect to that add-on. And if the customer says no, then you can delete it. The basis people they will delete those add-ons. Okay. And if customer says yes, if their business will be impacted without that add-on, they cannot leave, then you have to go back to SAP and check with them and check the roadmap for that add-on. SAP either comes back with some workarounds so that the conversion happens, or we need to wait till the SAP releases a version for that particular thing. And sometimes it happens also like we need to have a separate, the SAP might have moved that particular functionality to a separate instance. So there will be another workaround. You need to install another instance. You need to deploy that add-on, migrate that functionality to here from there, then you convert it. So there are different options. Likewise, you will have a few things like we spoke about technical checks, right? Likewise, you will have the functional checks also. You cannot convert your system as is. Like you have some functional checks also to be made. For example, if SD revenue recognition is implemented in your, that is deferred revenue, functionality is implemented in your source ECC system, then you cannot directly migrate the system, convert the system to S4HANA. First you need to perform is RAR migration, revenue accounting and this thing, right? So RAR migration has to be performed, wherein here SD revenue recognition functionality, that is all, that's again a small project kind of thing. It takes around 3 to 4 months, 2 to 3 months, or more than 2 months to my this thing. Okay.
Okay, sir. And one more thing. So then if my project is that I'm getting data from external system, external non-SAP system through IDOC. Okay. Post my, can I expect the same replica in S4HANA? Means I'm talking about the connection.
90% it, see, connection in the sense, if you are changing, let's say now it is going migrating to HANA, right? HANA is again a different instance. Suppose if your IP of your system, IP or host name of your system gets changed, then you basis people will readjust those connections there. The RFCs, they will modify accordingly so that the both system talks. That is with respect to connectivity. If your IP or host name doesn't change even after migration of your application server, right? Connections and RFCs go through application server only, not database server. So if they don't change, then the connections will be intact. No problem at all. The second thing, whether that particular functionality is working fine or not. So in general practice, what we do is with respect to all the external interfaces and the third-party systems to which our ECC system is talking. I told you earlier, right? And we'll come back to that later also. During the sandbox system and dev and quality conversion, we ensure that everything is tested. If we have a PO in place, then all the interfaces with respect to PO are tested. Sometimes, since your database structure is changing, right? So there, from my experience with all this conversion, there won't be much differences. But if at all, if there is some change in the structure or this thing, then we need to tweak that accordingly so that it works as is. So everything will be tested in the sandbox system. You test all your functionalities, your business processes, end-to-end this thing as per your BPML list and as per your business. And with respect to third-party systems also, all the interfaces will be tested in either in sandbox system if that system is connected to the third-party system, or in your quality system, you perform that, then only you will go to the production after only confirming if that everything is fine post conversion. With your, if there are any issues, right, you will be capturing it in the transport request, and when we perform the production conversion, there you move the transport request so that everything is intact. That's how it is done. Okay, that diagram I will show you the steps to how it will be. So like I said, right, apart from the technical this thing, pre-checks, compatibility checks, even we have some functional, you need to perform some functional checks also. Like I said, SD revenue recognition. And when it comes to finance, they will check whether it is on new GL or if it is on classic GL or if it is on classic asset accounting, or parallel ledgers implemented, parallel currencies implemented. So post conversion, they have few restrictions with respect to implementation of these parallel ledgers and parallel accounting, parallel currencies, as well as the document splitting functionalities. I'm not that aware of it, but they check all this stuff before conversion. If they are not implemented in the source ECC system, they have few restrictions when they go to the S4HANA. So these, right, both from the technical point of view as well as the functional point of view, we do a complete assessment of the system with respect to the S4HANA conversion. Okay. So for that assessment, your readiness check report will support you. We check few table entries there to check any other function. We even check the SPRO for the functionalities that are implemented and all. Okay. So this is just a high level list of the activities and which are there in this diagram, right? So we already have discussed about readiness check, application database inversions, and BSR report. BSR report is one report which we can generate along with this another report, which we can also generate along with readiness check report. This report, actually, we give the ST03 and data to SAP, and they gives us this report. There is a portal there where we upload this thing, business scenario recommendations report. So what report? It is purely a functional thing. It gives the recommendations how your processes can be optimized. Like now you are using some process which has got some 10 steps or 20 steps. Maybe how it can be optimized so that the time taken and as well as to reduce the number of steps and to make that process more effective. So those kind of functional processes optimization recommendations it provides. Okay, so that's pure functional thing. So when you do a conversion, you can ask your basis people to provide these reports, the readiness check report as well as the business scenario recommendations report. They will generate it and give it to you. They will share it with you, and you can always check them. So it's always better to ask these reports from your basis people when you do a conversion. Okay. Sorry. So the other things are
One question. This business scenario recommendations, all this is done before you do the technical upgrade, right?
Yes, yes. We do it on the source system and well before the technical conversion is done.
Source system is you will do it on the ECC system.
Yes, source system is your ECC system. Okay. So the other technical stuff, maintenance planner, we discussed simplification item list, we know custom code, we discussed custom and tool tables inconsistencies. This is one more technical check we do. Sometimes there will be, see all your, it's not custom, it is cluster. Sorry for the typo there. Cluster and pool tables, no, they will be converted to transparent tables when it comes to S4HANA. So if there are any inconsistencies, then during the migration, there will be errors. Some tool will throw error when it is converting it from custom and pool tables to transparent tables. So we do this check well in advance and we fix this. There is a report for doing this custom, this check, and that report, it will take time. Maybe sometimes it even take days to execute, to complete the execution of this particular report. And finally it gives a complete report if at all, if there are any inconsistencies. So ABAP guys, they perform the fixes for this, and once this is done, so it ensures that there won't be any issues during the migration. Likewise, missing indexes and tables, so custom ABAP people work on this. And then your pre-migration functional activities, finance and logistics, you all know those. So after completion of all this, the technical conversion will be done using this some DMO tool. DMO is database migration option of some software update manager. Software update manager is the tool, and out of which DMO we use when there is a database migration from any database to HANA. If it is on same HANA, if your EC system is already on HANA, then software update manager is sufficient. We don't do any database migration there. So during that, the target system, again, we need to know the size. So hardware tracking, network, hardware consistency to build this hardware also should be compatible for your HANA database. So not all hardwares will support HANA database. So those kind of checks will be performed. And once the technical migration is completed, again, as I discussed earlier, your post migration activities like simple finance and simple logistics activities start will be completed. So this is a simple landscape. See, any customer, they will have one dev, one quality, and one production this thing in their database, sorry, in their landscape, ECC. So first thing, as a step one, what we do is we do build a sandbox system. We don't touch dev QA's existing landscape. We build a separate sandbox system with a copy of their existing production system. Then we perform all these activities on the sandbox system. Okay, and the sandbox system will be given for testing, and end users and even we like the partner or customer, everyone, they test all their scenarios and check whether everything is working fine or not. And if there are any issues, they fix those issues, capture those in the transport request, and they reuse those transport requests in the subsequent migration. So if at all, if its system is a complex system and if there are a lot of issues, apart from the sandbox system, we even perform one more round of mock here to ensure that all the issues are fixed. And if required, if database size is very huge and if you want to reduce the downtime, then even multiple mocks will be performed in that case. So that depends on the customer to customer and the system to system, whether how many mocks or how many trail runs are required. After that, we migrate first, then there will be a code freeze that will be ensured.
I have a query here, please. Okay. Now, when you're talking about in this diagram, I don't see sandbox, right? So
The
this
first
mock
one-
is before the sandbox or once the first you create the sandbox, right?
Yes.
Sandbox will be copy of your production, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what you would do, I couldn't understand. Then basically mock is to check whether everything is working, right? All this scenarios are working, right?
Yes.
What exactly do you do in the mock?
First thing is, in sandbox system, you do all the activities, right? Conversion activities, pre-migration activities. You do a technical conversion, post-conversion, then you do testing. And you fix all the issues that are identified during the testing. Okay. In the mock, it's a kind of like pre-prod. While before doing a production, in the mock, what you do is you again take the backup. You again take the fresh backup of your production system, and you again refresh this system, source system, and the mock system, and you perform. By the time you will have a list, you have a project plan, you have the list of activities to be performed, and you have time durations that against each activity, and you try to replicate all the activities as you do in the production. It's a kind of dress rehearsal before it. Okay. Pre-production, you call it as, sometimes people call it as pre-production, sometimes people call it as a dress rehearsal. Sometimes it's a kind of rehearsal you are doing when you, before performing your production conversion, to ensure that there is no issue while you do the production conversion. Okay, so all these things will be, steps will be followed according to the timelines, and all the fixes will be moved, all the transport request fixes which are captured in the transport request will be moved to the mock system, and a high level of testing is again performed there to ensure that system is consistent and intact. That is the actual final mock is for.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So this is mandatory, this mock is done with the production data, right?
Yeah, then only you will know the issues, right? What issues you will get in the production system. Then only you'll know that. You cannot.
Then what happens to our development server, quality server?
Yeah, subsequently, once this is done, right? Once we'll have a code freeze period enforced there. Like you won't do any developments in your landscape. You won't do any customizations. Some people unavoidable, only very urgent these things changes, no, which really impact the business. Suppose this business is getting stopped or impacted because of any bug or any change that has to be done, then only those changes will be made. And that for that we'll have a separate system copy of development system, that is dev1 on the top. Okay, so that we'll make a copy of your existing dev to the dev1, and from there only the urgent request will be moving to the production, and it's a kind of a complete code freeze. You don't develop anything new, you don't create anything new, or you don't do anything. Okay, only urgent fixes will be moved, and then you start doing all the activities on your dev system, convert it to S4 HANA. Subsequently, you go to the quality system, do all activities, pre, post, and everything. And likewise, what and all can be moved to the transport request will be moved from dev to quality, and subsequently to quality to QS. And manual activities, it will be performed again. So you perform that QAS, and finally you perform a PRD. And customer to customer, it sometimes varies. The final mock, you do it after completing QAS also. That is all that they call it as pre-prod. And once you do dev QAS, they do a final mock there after completing QAS, and they get ready for production, and finally they go for the production. Okay.
Sorry to say that this last scenario I couldn't understand. Okay, I understood that you do a code freeze and then you will do mock with that production data. Okay,
Yeah,
but I do not understand what you would do with QS and okay, that is what I understand. So, Mitzi, you are doing this mock with production data, right? Then what would you do with QS again? I see some migrations I've seen they do the same mock for dev, they should do the same mock for QS. So are you saying that mock will be
yeah.
carried out for each of this landscape server?
I got where you are coming from. Few customers, right? They won't have this data, like they won't have a rigorous kind of functionalities that will be implementing, that are getting implemented in their systems, and even they are okay with the copy of their production being as development. So they see that the production is clean, and they use the same copy of production as development. So in those scenarios, the customer will use your sandbox as development and a final mock system as your quality system. But this doesn't happen with all the customers. If you look at the customers, there will be a plan for at least 6 months to 1 year plan with respect to the developments. Okay, so your developments will be in development system. You will be developing so many things which are not yet been moved to the production system. Okay, and if you want to redo those, if you use a production copy, right, then again you need to redo those. That will be a tedious effect, a big effort then. So they don't afford to have their development system again as a production copy. Why? Because all these changes that have been being half done or completely done, which are in the testing phase in QAs, those all things will get wiped out. So for those customers, we convert the dev system as is, and also the QAs if required. If there is nothing left, like if maybe if a rollout has been completed, if there is nothing wrong in doing the QAs, if at that particular point of time, if they can perform a QA refresh, then the production QAs refresh will be done with the production data. Then the QAs also will be converted, and as well as the PRD. If they can go with the QS, no, even after completing the PRD, we build the QS with the production copy. That's again another scenario. So likewise, it's based on the customer to customer, whatever the customer needs, and based on their developments, based on their plan of these things, like new functionalities that are getting added, and based on their system state, the which approach is best suited will be adopted there. Okay, is that clear, Thomas? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, Sridhar.
Yes,
You're
yes.
audible.
So we can continue, right?
Now we can continue.
So I don't want to go much into this tool. It will be like I don't think you might get a lot of you won't, even if I say something here, I don't think you will be able to get it. Why? Because this requires some basis knowledge on this. But anyway, I will
One
put
question,
everything.
Sridhar. One question.
Yeah, please.
So everyone using only DMO tool or any other apart from DMO, any other tools we have?
For some conversion, for the SAP, we have seen 3 approaches, right? There for S/4HANA conversions, this some SAP, some DMO tool is only used. Okay.
Okay.
When it comes to landscape transformation, there are few third-party tools like SNP, CBSS, few third-party vendors. They have developed few tools, and those can be used for the landscape transformation approach. For S/4HANA conversion approach, some only. And as I said, DMO comes into picture when you have a different databases, like when you are moving from non-HANA database to HANA. And if it is already on HANA, then you have some tool. You don't need to use that option. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So here you have set of pre-migration activities, the technical activities, and the post-migration activities. When it comes to technical activities, again, there are few steps that will be performed. We start the sum well in advance. Okay, there are few steps that will be performed before downtime, and also there will be steps during the downtime, and there will be steps post the downtime. So to actually decrease the downtime of this thing, some has come up with this concept of shadow instance. Okay, in your ECC system itself, it will make a copy of your ECC system. It will make another instance in the same database that is called shadow instance. Okay, just try to get the essence of it. It's not that important, but still I'm just trying to share this. Why? Because I want you to understand what are the pre-migration activities, like what are the uptime activities, what are the downtime activities, and what are the post-downtime activities. Okay, in the uptime activities, your business will be running. All your system will be running, your business will be running, production operations will be running, but parallelly, the sum activities and your pre-migration activities will also be running. Okay, so to accommodate this, what this sum tool does is, it will build a shadow instance within your database itself. End users won't be knowing anything about that shadow instance, and it will have complete your customization as well as your cost kind data. And that on that shadow instance, it will completely do the consistency checks and as well as the upgrade steps. That shadow instance, it will be upgrading internally, but business users won't be knowing it internally. And once that is done, when we'll take a downtime there. So you have a planned downtime. So you'll ensure that all your uptime activities are completed. So let us say that this Friday 9 o'clock is your planned downtime, and you have informed all your end users as well as your partners, saying that from today 9 o'clock, Friday 9 o'clock to Saturday 9 o'clock or Sunday 9 o'clock, evening 9 o'clock, the system will be down. So before Friday 9 o'clock, we'll ensure that we'll start the sum 2 days in advance or 3 days in advance based on the system resources, so that even your business should not be affected, right? When both are running parallelly, your system resources will be consumed. So 2-3 days in advance, we'll start that, and we'll ensure that all the uptime activities are completed before the downtime. Let me show you the sum screens here, how it look like. That will really...
Sridhar, when the system is downtime, if you use the systems, then what will happen?
You won't be able to access the system. It will say that you won't be getting connected.
Actually, in my company, like when the downtime I use the system, and that time I got some mails from the basis team. That's why.
No, you get a message there. Upgrade is carrying. You won't be able to perform anything. The first thing what we'll do is we log the system
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
downtime. I'm coming to it. Okay. So let me show you. These are some screens. I just want to scroll you how the sum tool runs. Right. This is pure basis. Let me go to the top. Here you'll understand what are uptime activities, what are downtime. You can see my screen, right? It's a Word document. I don't think you will be comfortable, but still you are able to see it, right? Hello?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the maintenance planner. What I am Stack XML. What I was talking about earlier, which will have the source details and as well as the target details and all the path or the patch levels. It has to go from this version to that version. What is the exact path and what are the patches required for that? That list will give the input to the sum. So this we start beforehand. This XML. Okay, this is what options we choose, some checks it will perform. These are all more of technical, more of what is interest to you. There will be few issues in this also which we need to fix. And sometimes SAP it will be our mistakes, or sometimes we require SAP notes for this, etc. etc. And what is interest to you is I'll just this is your HANA database details you provide. What is the target HANA database, HANA client? So those details will be provided so that it migrates from here source to the target. Okay. So HANA database user details have to be. If you see on the top here, this is of interest to you. Extraction, configuration, checks and pre-processing. These may take 18 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, depends on the system. Okay. These are all till execution phase, right? These are all uptime activities. This will be running in parallel with the business. Okay. So once you're down, this will ensure that all these steps are completed before our planned downtime. That is, for in our case, Friday 9 o'clock. So here it also gives the target patch levels here. If you see, right now there it is 740 SAP ABAP. Now it goes to, since it is going to S4HANA 2021 SP1, the base SAP ABAP will become 75E. Likewise, basis will become 754. Tomorrow after conversion, you can check the same system. Okay, and see these patch levels there. These are the target patch levels. Okay. So as soon as the downtime starts, the first thing what we do is, as someone has raised, right, what will happen? There will be some external interfaces also, iDocs, or it can be a BW system, or it can be any Weighbridge system, etc., etc. So we'll ask the team to clear. First, we lock all the users. First step, we'll have only background users unlocked, and we'll clear all the queues, whether it can be BW queues, it can be any pending iDocs, or it can be anything which are stuck in that. So all the queues will be cleared, and if there is anything that is stuck in between, that this call will be taken either to discard it or to move it. Okay. So once that is done, your technical execution process will start. We take a backup of the system, then the technical upgrade starts. So see, here we come to this particular point, and here it says it asks us to complete the backup, or it gives us two options, or resume production. If we don't want to move ahead, we can resume the production, or here we take the complete backup. Then here users are logged, and from this stage, even if user is not logged, you won't be able to access the system till your execution phase is completed. Execution phase, it will do two things, like it will have a series of steps. One thing is it will migrate your complete data from your source database to the target database, and then it will also upgrade your source ECC version to S4HANA. Everything happens in this particular downtime window. Okay. So once this downtime is completed and post-processing, the technical when this is completed, the post-processing text also all this will be taken care by some tool itself. Then it means that your technical migration is completed. Then after this, a backup will be taken. Then the system will be handed over to the finance team. Okay. Finance team, they do the post conversion activities. Like I said earlier, right? There will be few steps that needs to be performed, and during that, the finance data migration takes place. And the logistic guys, they do their post conversion steps like credit management activities, material ledger activities, and if at all any other things. And once these steps are done, all the transport requests which you have captured, all the issues which you have captured in the transport request will be moved to the target system. And after that, a sanity check will be made, and finance people check their balances and all if they are intact with respect to the ECC earlier system like ECC system. And a sanity check as well as a high level smoke testing will be performed whether all the functionalities are working fine. After that, they release the background jobs so that the communication between the external systems will also start working. Only after that, they will release the system to the end users. Those end users' user IDs will be unlocked. So these are all the overall steps that happen during the conversion. And this downtime optimization, this is purely technical again. I don't think you might need this and all. Okay, this is tool how to optimize. In tool we'll have some options to reduce the downtime, like we can have some parameters with respect to the resources what we have on the system, right? We can change some parameters so that it executes fast. There will be n number of parallel jobs running during this phase. So based on the resources, we can tweak that and optimize and see that the downtime gets reduced. This is again a basis activity. So I think I have covered everything at a very high level with respect to the conversion that happens at this thing in a real time or customer place. Any queries? Any questions?
So
Yes,
everything will be taken care by the basis team and ABAP team, right? There is no functional consultant involved in the technical migration.
No. With function migration, functional team will carry out the pre and post activities.
So it means like
What are the T codes? You said that some of the T codes are obsolete and some of the T codes are not using. So have you list of the T codes which are not in S4 and which are obsolete? Do you have that list?
I have that list, but I don't think I will be. You can ask your this thing now trainer, right? Logistics trainer Ravigari. You can ask. He will be having those. Okay.
Okay.
One question here, like, are you going to do the technical migration tomorrow, or is there another person who is going to do technical migration?
This system, I will be doing it.
The 500 server, which we are practicing actually.
Yes. I will be doing
at what time it would be?
That I cannot say. Your good name, please.
Sangram. Once madam told us Monday, Sunday.
Yeah, it will take almost 2 to 3 days, Sangram. It's not like, see, I have showed you, right, for executing for completion of all these activities, no? Right from start to, it will take maybe 2 days, 3 days, sometimes even 4 days. Okay?
No, means I was just, I was asking what time you are going to perform. So some of the practice of mine is pending, so I can complete it early.
Yeah, see, that only when, you are asking about that. Only when I get a confirmation from the Ravigaru or the management, right? The training management, then only I will start that. Before giving the confirmation, they will take all your concerns there, okay? So
Sunday they said, that is why.
you talk to them. I think you have a class, right? Till now I did not get any this thing from them saying that when to start the conversion. You talk to them once so that they will let me know when exactly I need.
Okay, no problem.
You inform
We have to-
I have one question. I just want to
I
check
just
with you.
want-
Let's say if you have any data.
Sorry,
I wanted to ask you now this downtime.
Let's say if you have
activity that you
any
Suresh, please. Can
yeah.
you
See, let's say we have any enhancements. We have any enhancements and other developments, right? So that kind of migration, how it can be done.
see all your custom objects like enhancements, any kind of this thing, everything will be migrated to S4HANA. Okay.
So everything will be supported, right? Let's say we have some sales enhancements or finance enhancements, or in logistics also we have enhancements. So while
Yeah,
moving in to unknown server, so okay, anyway, we'll be checking in the dev systems whether that the functionalities are working or not. But in technical point of view, like any enhancement which is being done in the ECC system, those can be migrated and those can be worked in another system. Do we need to check with SAP? Let's say some functionality is there in ECC, whether it can be worked in as ANA server or not. Do we need to check with the SAP team, or we can straight away go ahead with the migration?
you have this ATC checks, right? ATC checks tool. ABAP people will perform this ATC checks tools, and if you that is with respect to the code, and if any functional functionality you are talking about, that will be shown in your readiness check report. Okay. So if readiness check report, if it says something that this particular functionality won't work in S4HANA, then you need to approach SAP. And
Okay,
when
okay.
it comes to the
So basically,
enhancements,
we are checking it.
yeah, please.
Yeah, got it.
Go.
Got it. Basically, we are checking in readiness check whether that functionality can be migrated to ANA or not from ECC.
Yes,
If
sir.
something is getting stuck there, then we need to check with SAP.
Yes. And when it is a custom functionality, or if it is a custom code or custom enhancement or custom this thing, everything will be moved. And only thing we need to ensure is during testing, they need to ensure that it is working fine or not. That anyway, they will do it. So if it is custom, it will be moved as is. And if there is an issue with respect to the code written, right, then ABAPers will adjust that code according to HANA.
Okay, it's similar to the whenever we move from one package to another, right? Like ECC
Exactly.
6.0 to 6. Okay. Got it.
Exactly. Not much this thing difference.
Yes, sir.
There
I
will
have a
be a
small.
detailed.
Sir, I have one query. This is Raju. So we, as a
Yeah.
functional consultant, finally we don't have any. Are we having any one or two roles with the technical migration, or we can skip in the real time this one?
You cannot skip this, but you will be there.
Yeah, there are some reports, right, where we need to take care.
Yeah,
So
there
can we have
will be.
remembering all?
Yeah, it will be like a relay race, Raju. Once the first SAP nodes are deployed, right, by basis people, then the system will be handed over to functional. Finance people, they do their consistency checks and all. Logistics people, they perform CVA and the other checks and all. When few reports they run, they check the consistencies and all. If there are any kind of MRP or storage location issues, they sort those out. Okay, then again the system will be handed over to technical people. Then they perform this conversion. In the meantime, ABAPer, they do their custom code remediation and all. And once the technical conversion is done by this thing, during technical conversion, no one will be doing anything. Only basis guys will work on that. And once that is done, then again the system will be handed over to finance people. They start doing this finance migration activities. And in between, logistics guys, they pitch in to do the credit management. and after that again finance will come, they do some activities, and again logistics guys will come and do the material ledger and all. After that everyone will come together and they move their transport requests. Okay, and each one of them will be testing testing the scenario. That's how it happens. It's a kind of relay.
Okay. To say, like, after pre-migration activities, once the SAP nodes are implemented by Basis, they will be taking care. If at all, if they get any functional related errors, that will be communicated to the respective functional consultant. Then we need to resolve them, and then we have to inform to Basis. That's it, right? We don't have to pitch in directly.
Yes.
Because it's kind of a mess up to some of the people, like heading towards this technical stuff.
Yeah. You need not bother about technical, but just have an overall idea when you do a conversion, right? That will help you a lot when you do it.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sridhar, my query was, just now you explained the downtime. So this activity you're talking in reference to production to sandbox, right?
No. This is only for the production conversion. Sandbox, you don't have any downtime. Okay. This is
so that's parallel. Okay.
Production system where your business is getting impacted.
You're taking a backup for creating the sandbox there, you don't need any downtime, etc.
No, offline backup is okay. There we don't require any backup. Offline backup, we can build a system with offline backup.
So these activities that you
online backup, not offline, online backup. Sorry for that. Yeah.
Okay, online. These activities that you mentioned in functional, could you just, is there any slide explaining those activities? What FI would be doing? What
from the management, Thomas. Functional, I am not the right person to share. Sorry for that.
So a small query. Just before we explain about complete process of migration, like which module person has to do what. After this, assume that I have a ECC, I have done all this process and the data is appearing in S4HANA. Okay. Again, I have added some data in ECC system. Does it automatically migrate to S4HANA, or else do I need to follow all the same procedure, whatever you have been explained?
You won't be, first thing is you won't be able to add anything after this thing. You won't have an ECC system there. May I know your good name, please?
My name is Sridhar. Assume that the client is...
What happens is, right? Yeah, I'm coming to that. What happens is you're running your sum tool on your ECC system, right? At the downtime, when it starts migrating, when the downtime starts, right, it will freeze your source database. You won't be able to access the source database anymore. You will be able to access only the HANA database. You won't be able to post any data there. Till pre-processing, whatever data is available just before downtime, right? Whatever data is there, that will completely come. But post that, you won't be even able to access the ECC system, Sridhar.
You mean to say that after completion of migration, that if we see all the data in S4HANA, again the client will not have any access to ECC? You mean to say this?
Yes. And to make that accessible, there are few steps, but that won't be a production system anymore.
Okay. But if client want that system also, will it be any chances to have the data from that?
See, that's the concept of downtime, right? Once you, that is the cutover that is happening there. At the downtime, that is the point where you are doing the cutover, your ECC system is gone. Post cutover, after the downtime, you are on S4HANA. That's it. There is no ECC.
Yeah, moreover, as an end user, if I want to add up any data also, just I'll use the S4HANA instead of ECC, right? Since I have all the data. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Sridhar, in real time, like what is the duration of technical migration?
It depends on database size, Raju. Sometimes it takes database, why? Because it has to migrate, right? Somewhere around, if it is small system, 6 to 8 hours to sometimes even it takes days. If it is 10 TB, 20 TB system, 2 to 3 days. So
Okay.
that your downtime comprises of your technical migration as well as your functional post migration activities. Okay, so
Yeah,
those
because we are doing some 24 hours to 48 hours frequently and every 3 months in my client. That's the reason.
yeah, so that is actually that depends again. Yeah, data. If what we do is usually we calculate all the timelines in the sandbox system itself, sandbox system and mock system, and accordingly each phase we note down the time taken, and we'll have a consolidated timeline, and accordingly the cutover and the downtime is planned. Suppose if it is taking 24 hours, then we communicate the same to the business, to the customer, so that they communicate to the business saying that for this 24 hours from this time to this time, the system won't be accessible.
Yeah,
And it will be
majority of the times, like it will lie on only weekends, right? Saturday or Sunday, these downtimes.
yes. Majority of the customers they choose on weekends. Why? Because their business is not impacted much, right? So
Correct.
they choose weekends.
Now, this sum tool that you are going to run on ECC, so every time when you're doing a sandbox, you will run the sum. Every time
Yes.
you want to test it, you will do a sum on the you will do the sum. You will run the sum tool, right?
Yes, all activities maybe which are transportable, few fixes and a few activities like SAP nodes I can implement in sandbox system, capture in the transport request, and I can move them. I need not re-implement in the other systems. But some tool and other manual activities with respect to like your CVA you have to perform on all the systems, and other pre and post operations activities as well as technical migration has to be performed on each system which you are converting. If you have 4 systems, one sandbox, dev quality production, you are doing it for 4 times there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then can I take this as like you don't have any queries, right? The silence, I can take it as you don't have any queries. Can we close this session for now then?
Sridhar, like, can we get any document related to this today's session? Technical.
You need to check with management. I cannot share any documents directly with it. You check with your management, please.
Okay.
Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, and hope this has given some idea, knowledge about the conversion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Sridhar.
Sridhar.
Thank you, Shivu.
you